What do you know about Sweden? Volvo, Saab, maybe first-class trucks on the safest cars in the world? It's true, of course, but there is something else in this beautiful country. A real nugget unicorn in the car industry, a daring leap that dared to challenge the famous producers of hypercar. How can one of the world's fastest cars be created without a sports history, years of accumulated experience and huge factories with thousands of employees? All these miracles were demonstrated by one small but very ambitious campaign, Koenigsegg. I'll show you the missiles on the wheels. So meet Christian von Koenigsegg, a man who for the sake of his dream has done incredible. As a child, little Christian watched a cartoon where a bicycle master creates a race car and wins the race. Christian was so inspired by this cartoon that ever since he dreamed of only the one thing, to build a supercar that would be unparalleled in the world. As a child, he was interested in various kinds of mechanisms, then the tape recorder will take, then the toaster will break. Many of us will see ourselves in this baby as a child, won't we? When he grew up, he received a sort of untechnical education. He became an economist. Not only was he engaged in life, but his classes include sailing, use mops, and even selling chicken. This type of occupation was extremely fascinating, but his heart was of course to another, and for a moment he did not forget about his main dream, the creation of a supercar. And so, having collected all his money from selling chicken, he began to act. In 1994, at the age of only 22, young Christian von Koenigsegg, on his drawing and with the help of his friends, began to create the first model of a sports car in his life. The experience, as you understand, was catastrophically lacking, and Christian had to throw the cry around the world. It requires engineers who at least initially would agree to work for a meager fee or even for an idea that is for free. You will be unhappy, but you will find one. After 2 years of hard work, the light finally saw the first car, Koenigsegg CC. What was this creation? At the base of the whole structure was a semi-monocoque with the frames on all these the panels made of very light and strong carbon fiber. The outer design was developed by Christian himself. The engine, it was decided to take the engine from the Audi. It was V8 in the drain, having slightly more than 300 horse forces. It seems that everything is ridiculous, but in order to bring to mind the whole structure required serious financial injections. And the money was catastrophically lacking. It was necessary to invent something urgently. And here is the exit to advertise his creation. Christian brought him to the Cannes Film Festival, where the famous and the most important rich were the Pound Prudy. And here it was lucky the car produced a furor. People were surprised by the complex structure, beauty and potential of the car from Sweden. Somehow it turned out to attract investors, and together with them and the first customers on a still quiet raw car. At the expense of the first customers' money, the hypercar received not only augmented name, but also a new extremely robust V8 Ford engine, forced from 310 to an incredible than 655 horsepower, as well as a mechanical 6-speed transmission. And one more future, it will be a visit Koenigsegg hypercar for years to come. I mean, The Mercedes has the J-wing. Ford has the butterfly wing. Mechanism of Lamborghini, the famous guillotine, so-called Lambo doors, and Christian von Koenigsegg invented his castle, a mechanism called the Beetle wing. Notice how they open. The hingers turn on the drive hingers and push the door out the arc. All this unusual beauty was able to disperse to 100 km an hour in 5 seconds, and the maximum speed was, according to the manufacturer, 390 km an hour. And with this characteristic, hypercar finally went into a serial production. Is it a success? But it's like a thunder in the clear sky, a disaster. In the building where the car was assembled, there was a big fire. In the flame, most of the equipment and parts for future hypercar died. Virtually all the workshop where the assembly was held was destroyed by fire. Some unfinished hyper cartridges at the very last moment somehow unbelievably managed to save. Any other person would have seriously hurt it, but Christian survived this stand. With the whole team they moved to the new building, which was many times better than old air base of the Swedish military forces. Naturally, the take-off strip was attached. It was possible to place a racetrack on it. Customers have been especially appreciated for the new location, and there is a strip you can arrive to Koenigsegg directly on your personal aircraft. The famous show Top Gear was an even bigger push in the glory of the high-profile hypercar.
This is the Koenigsegg, Sweden's attempt to land a punch in the Italian-dominated world of the supercar.
Jeremy Clarkson tasted the car and the miracle. He was thrilled with the furious spirit of the hypercar from Sweden. You'll agree, it doesn't happen often.
So, welcome everyone to the fastest car we've ever tested here.
This goes like nothing I've ever driven. And it feels like nothing I've ever driven. The clutch is heavy, the steering's heavy, the gearbox is heavy. It's just a ton and a half of testosterone.
On the track Top Gear, Koenigsegg showed the second place behind the first place of Koenigsegg by only 1/10. But the most interesting thing happened 2 years later in one of the future releases. The famous show featured the next version of hypercar, a CCX modification, but showed not so remarkable time on the track, giving way to hypercars such as Porsche Carrera GT, Ferrari Enzo and Pagani Zonda F. Stick admitted that the car is badly short of pressing force if the car had been fitted with the anti-wing, adding pressure on the real axle. He'd bet a lot better time. But not even that was the main event of the rival, precisely because of the lack of pressure. On one of the fastest first circles there was such an accident. All the front of hypercar was broken. Koenigsegg promised to install the anti-wing, which was offered by the way as an option, and again to provide hypercar for re-arrival. It happened exactly this way. The hypercar supplement by the anti-wing showed the record time of the circle. This very record lasted in the table Top Gear for more than 2 years. Christian von Koenigsegg's cases went uphill. There was no fight from those who wanted to buy his supercar. Even the prices approaching $1 million didn't scare the future owners much. The price increased along with the growth of the engine power: 655 horsepower, 805, 1018, 1140 horsepower. Insane engine on 1140 horsepower, the Agera ARM model for the company. This bullet on the wheels goes up to 100 in 2.8 seconds, and the maximum speed easily passes at 400 km per hour. At the same time, the salon is not devoid of luxury of the best representatives of the class. The Agera R model is also remarkable because it was the first carbonic wheel drive in the history of the automotive industry. If a regular disc weighs 10-12 kilograms, the carbonate is less than 6 kilograms. As a result, the wheel follows the road profile better, and the acceleration and braking dynamics are improved due to the less interior of such a drive. Besides, such a disc is much stronger than any other metallic. Behind such technology is the future, only worth this disc 5,000 euros. And the Agera R model was also featured in the film Need for Speed. The most spectacular races took place with the participation of this hypercar. One of the machines in the movie script is broken, but don't worry, the lovers of the beautiful. None of the real hypercars were injured. All of the films in Koenigsegg Agera were fake, but just super expensive car replicas. Even Hollywood blockbusters with colossal budgets can afford to break an exclusive hypercar worth $1.5 million. Koenigsegg has broken the world with numerous records, so in 2005 the CCR model set a record of maximum speed at 388 km per hour, having taken the title of the fastest car in the world with the legendary McLaren F1. But literally in a few months Bugatti Veyron gives the title of the fastest hypercar to itself over 400 km per hour. It was a blow to the ambitions of the Swedish company, and since then Koenigsegg and Bugatti have been fighting bloodless for the title of the fastest car in the world. In the future, Bugatti only consolidated its success by continuously improving its peak speed, as in 2017 with Bugatti, but Chiron has already set a world record for overtaking 400 km and braking to zero. It took only 42 seconds for Bugatti to disperse from the ground to 400 km per hour to stop completely, but it didn't take long for them to rejoice. Koenigsegg seemed to be waiting for Bugatti to take its first step, and in just a month the Agera RS model made the same arrival for 5.5 seconds faster. Now Bugatti was in the same situation as Koenigsegg was once, that is, as a loser, but finally fixed the advantage of Koenigsegg helped the record for maximum speed. On a deserted highway in the American state of Nevada, Agera RS was able to develop an unruly 447 km per hour. At the moment, it's an absolute speed record among serial cars. But what is your move, Bugatti? But the most unusual high-speed record also belonged to the hypercar Koenigsegg. One of the CCX owners was fined for driving on his hypercar on the public road at speed, you just think, 387 km per hour. 387 km per hour on a regular road. As if I wanted to see the face of the policeman who had recorded the violation. This kind of achievement was recorded in the Guinness Book of Records. In order to set records, technology is needed, and Koenigsegg is working on it. Perhaps we will soon have a small revolution in the world of the internal combustion engine, which will be facilitated by the development of Koenigsegg. The Swedish company proposes to eliminate the spread in the propulsion and replace all this inefficient reduction and efficiency mechanism with a system of pneumatic hydroelectric actuators of valves. According to Koenigsegg, this design allows to change the gas distribution phases anyway. It will improve traction on the bottom, will increase the environmental efficiency of emissions, such as a motor is 30% more powerful and at least 20% more economical. The engine with this design will be able to consume fuel with almost any octane number, disable any number of cylinders, and operate if any of the three main thermodynamic cycles. Christian von Koenigsegg says that the valve-driven machine is almost ready and will soon launch in the serials. And now about the crown of the creation of Koenigsegg, Megacar, as it called by the creators of Koenigsegg. Regera is an intergalactic missile on which wheels were made and camouflaged under a road car. Active aerodynamics, active shock absorbers changing road clearance depending on the situation, titanium exhaust system, Kelvor carbon fiber super strong and light monocoque, carbonoceramic brakes, hydrodrive. You are on everything that opens and closes on an expensive audio system, the salon on which is thrilled even by the royal people. And if, in the 21st century, no one is bothered by this splendor, that's what makes the spirits quench. So, for a moment, Koenigsegg Regera does not have the usual transmission. Its function is performed by the patient system Koenigsegg Direct Drive. With this very system, the internal combustion engine is connected directly to the rear axle through a hydraulic moved with the variable slip rate. There are no usual gears, and the equivalent of the 7th gear is involved. At first glance, it's like moving from the place to top. You think this seemingly strange design doesn't overheat, so to prevent overheating and to collapse of the hydromove, when starting from place at low speeds, the hydromove will have 3 incredibly powerful electrotor, 2 engines on the back axis and a third connection is with a crankshaft. And now sit down if you are standing, because I'm going to start voicing the numbers that will shake your imagination. The total return of the entire hybrid system with a V8 and electromotors is over 1500 horsepower and 2000 Newton torque meter. All this energy is transferred exclusively to the rear wheels. Starting from place to 100, if the wheels cleaned, the asphalt occurs in 2.8 seconds, but the most incredible is not. The 400 km per hour is only 20 seconds. Do you understand? No road vehicle on this planet is capable of such dispersion rates. Christian von Koenigsegg is an example of how, despite the difficulties, the way this person made was not easy. But what turned out is worth any effort. Move to your goals, whatever in it enable. They may not be, and it's possible that legends will be heard about you. See you soon, friends.